Hi everybody, so I'm here again with Ellen and Linda, and we're going to dive a little bit more into the seminar that they're going to be talking about and what's going to be going on there. But first, I had my interest piqued a little bit. As I was listening to you speak, I was wondering, can non-Indigenous editors work successfully with Indigenous authored manuscripts? Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. If you look at a writer like Anita Heiss, her books include Paris Dreaming, Manhattan Dreaming, and they're books aimed at 25 to 35-year-old women, mainly a non-Indigenous audience. So the kind of books that you can pick up at the airport in Big W, and are great and funny books about women, working in Paris, working in New York, and friendship groups. And Anita has worked with non-Indigenous editors, and she talks about that because most of her audience are non-Indigenous, it makes sense for her to have a non-Indigenous editor, because as an editor is your first reader, they're both in the same place, and this editor can give Anita a bit of a reader's response when she brings in Aboriginal themes and issues. The editor has the same amount of understanding as the reader would, so that makes that process easy. But
she was saying that it was very productive, but there were incidents, I think, where the Aboriginal content was discussed a little bit more, because the non-Indigenous editor would be saying, well, what does this mean, or what are you trying to say here? And it still produced a wonderful, end product. Yeah. But it's that kind of collaboration.
Yeah.
So it's getting that extra explanation that's sort of needed to bridge that knowledge gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would find this Deadly Style seminar useful? Are we going sort of broad range, so not just publishers and freelance editors, but, public servants, and then maybe even like Indigenous authors themselves?
All of the above. Anyone who's got a passion and is very interested in looking at or wanting to experience a different style of communication through Indigenous writers. So anyone who's got that kind of interest or passion.
Because even though I suppose you're teaching the editing side of things, I mean, Indigenous authors are going to have to go through that editing process, so it's helpful for them to know what you're looking out for as well.
Yeah, I'll be talking really nitty-gritty about the editing process, so all the cider sort of on the page sort of things that happen, I'll be sharing some of those experiences.
So for non-Indigenous authors, would this seminar be helpful in terms of, I suppose, understanding the protocol for their own writing and whether or not they should be including Indigenous characters and themes and language? And
well, there are actually very strict protocols that a writer must follow, and that's something that we will definitely go into in more depth in the workshop. And those same protocols apply to us also as Aboriginal people. Mm-hmm. It's just a common courtesy of these particular protocols that you must follow.
As in getting permission to use particular stories, or what's sort of involved?
So, like, for example, if I wanted to write about Uluru, well, I actually, culturally, even though I'm Aboriginal, I have to follow a protocol to ask for permission from the Aboriginal people who are the traditional custodians of that area, because I'm not from there. So I have a certain protocol to follow.
How very interesting. Because I had always wondered, I would like to think that at one point, sometime in the future, that I would include some Aboriginal or Indigenous characters in my stories, but I never knew what was involved to make that happen and whether I should.
Yeah. I think we're definitely not discouraging of people who want to write about Aboriginal characters and Aboriginal lives, because I think, to write a novel about Australia and to not include those sort of themes is a strange choice in itself. It's all about choices, and I think some of the things that Linda will be talking about in particular will help in making some of those choices if you do decide to go down that path.
Thank you so much, ladies. This has been a really informative series of interviews.
A Deadly Styles workshop is really one of a kind. You have two Aboriginal people who are trained and accredited editors. The Deadly Style workshop is unique, just like the Black and White project is. So it'll be a lot of fun and a lot of learning.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you.